Hey everyone, it's your boy Matt Wildcard, aka Matty Light, and welcome to Whole Family Gaming. Today I'm going to be talking about Final Fantasy XIV's content and if I think it's too hard to complete. It's a topic I've seen discussed taking place in general chat in Final Fantasy XIV and on Reddit posts. I'm a returning player and I have been playing this game on and off since the launch of Realm Reborn all the way up to Shadowbringers. I haven't beaten much of the in-game or the Savage content, but I usually do all the normal runs of trials, and I like to do the Alliance raids as well, as far as completing every dungeon the game usually has to offer. I want to give my casual perspective on this game and if I think it's hard, and maybe some tips that might help some people. So, do I think Final Fantasy XIV is too hard? The short answer is no. And I guess that's it, guys. I know, there's my answer. So, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. No, but all joking aside, guys, no, I don't think this game is too hard. And my reasons mainly go into the following tasks that you have to do to enjoy this story and enjoy the game to its fullest. So the first thing that most people are going to be doing when you start off on this game is the main story quest, and specifically A Realm Reborn. So when you first play this game, one of these things, and a minor complaint I have of this game, is the game is very slow introducing you into the game. Now, somebody who likes things to be slower so they can get a handle of things better, then you might like how Final Fantasy eases you in, because it does. It really eases you in. So you get very minuscule moves. You get like one or two like moves that you're mainly going to be using for most of the time, and then maybe some enhancements or like buffs if you're a tank, like damage mitigation abilities or different heals if you're a healer. But for the most part, you get moves slowly all the way to 30. Now, once you hit 30, the game starts kind of being a little bit more challenging as far as what you have to do with your character, but it just goes into my other big point about this game, is that if you read your tool tips and you understand your abilities when you get them, you will learn your rotations slowly starting to form. And again, I don't really feel like you start seeing any kind of rotation until you hit about level 30. But for the most part, the dungeons that you go through and the content you have to clear is pretty easy for the most part. The only thing I could see an argument that some people have is with single player content where you have to do an instance run of like a mission where you have to do a series of objectives and defeat certain enemies. And personally, I can understand this part being a little daunting to some people, because even I have some troubles where I might die once or twice. But once you understand and you actually read what the NPC is usually telling you to do, you can generally complete it. And then on top of that, Final Fantasy has also introduced a system where if you die too many times, you can turn it on to very easy and complete it like it's nothing. So that's also been implementing so people can get through that. I have seen people who have struggled with that, and I can understand their concerns, but it's been addressed by Final Fantasy now and Square, so they have fixed that issue. So this goes into my next thing, is dungeons, and I talked about it briefly. So if you played from 1 to 30 by now, or have gotten that far, the dungeons haven't been too hard. It's really until 30 where mechanics really start becoming a factor. And dungeons are where you're going to see most of your mechanics. And, of course, raids and things on. But right now we're talking about just simply the dungeons. So if you play through the entire game and don't skip, which I strongly disagree with, do not use a skip potion for story to progress through the MSQ. Just do the game. I know there's going to be times where you might have to wait and there can be some annoyances involved, but I promise you that you'll be happy in the long run, because the game, as you do more dungeons and learn more mechanics, you will begin to understand how certain gimmicks work. And you will begin to see mechanics, and you'll know that when you see, say, an orange circle on the ground, you'll be like, oh, I know I got to stand out of that. And you'll know that. and you'll see different kind of things where you have the arrows that point inwards to tell you to cluster together. You will begin to understand these core mechanics that you will see in most dungeons and be able to finish it and complete it because you've taken every dungeon one step at a time. You've completed all the content and you've learned as you played. And this is my key component to why I don't think Final Fantasy XIV is too hard. Because if you read your tooltips, if you do your dungeons, if you do all of your story quests and your single player instances, and understand what the game is teaching you as you play, there's no reason why you can't complete it. And even if you have an issue, if you're a new player, you have the novice community channel to speak to on chat and saying, hey guys, I'm having an issue with this, and tons of expert players, friendly people, help you understand what you might need to do, or even go as far as to come out there and help you yourself. I've had it happen. I didn't understand how the hunt system worked, and I literally had someone come show me and teach me about this system. And then above all, guys, you can always look up guides. I know some people can be saying, oh, well, I don't want to look up a guide to play a game. I don't want to have to feel like I have to go and do research to enjoy a game. Well, you don't really have to, but I personally like to. And I think it's a good idea to use resources to help you better yourself if you're struggling with something. Or if you're somebody who likes to challenge yourself, well, then we shouldn't be having this topic. It's just not a topic for you. But my point I'm just trying to make is, don't be alarmed if something starts becoming too hard. Practice, or ask for advice, or watch a video. And also, which goes into my next point, don't be afraid to tank or heal. I know a lot of people are afraid of tanking and healing because the role is very big as far as what you have to do in the party. So a tank, you are essentially the leader. You are essentially supposed to set the pace of the dungeon. And it's your job to make sure everyone stays alive and that the healer has to heal you the least amount it has to so it can spend its time doing damage. Now, hearing that sounds scary, and I understand your feelings. Trust me, I felt the same way. I didn't want to let that be the reason why I wouldn't play a tank, because I was scared that a game might be too challenging and the role might be too daunting. Well, there's one good thing I can give you guys, is Final Fantasy has dumbed down tanking and healing substantially. Back in the day, for a tank, you had a tank stance that you had to turn off to maximize DPS so you could run content extremely fast and do maximum damage and use your mitigation, and you had so much more you had to worry about. But Final Fantasy has changed that since Shadowbringers. So now a tank can just simply leave their tanking stance on. There's literally no reason to take it off unless you're doing a in-game content, which I'm not even going to get into on this topic. My point is just simply to get through the story so people can enjoy it and enjoy the easy content. If you understand how you learn the mechanics and you understand what your role is, there's no reason why you can't get through any of the content. And the mechanics aren't very hard. And especially once you get into Shadowbringers, if you truly are starting to feel like it's becoming a little daunting, then just simply use the trust system, where you run it with NPCs until you better understand it. Or if it really does bother you and you really are nervous to tank or heal, just play DPS. Yes, it will be a little bit more of a wait because DPS is, you get the whole gist. DPS takes longer, all that stuff to get into content. Just what I'm trying to get at is, don't let being a tank and a healer stop you because the role is too big of a role, so to speak. The other big thing that a lot of people talk about is rotation and it being complicated and all that stuff, and everyone says it's a huge deal and it's hard to understand. Guys, I can tell you firsthand, I don't use the most optimal rotation. I know the general idea of what my rotation is. You can see as I play through the gameplay you're seeing on screen, I don't do the most optimal rotation. But that just goes more to my point about this game not being super hard to clear normal content, because as long as you have a general idea of how your abilities work, you can get through any of the content this game throws at you. I promise you, you can. And this goes into the last point, experience. Guys, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Laugh it off. Joke about it. Be like, how stupid was that? Whatever you have to do, just laugh it off. Who cares if someone tries to call you a name because you messed up? They don't matter. They don't matter. Don't let people scare you from, oh, if I mess this up, somebody's going to call me out. If they call you out, just ignore them. I'm serious. Just ignore them. 90% of the time, somebody will come up to bat for you. I'll tell you this. If somebody's picking on somebody when I'm running a dungeon and they're specifically have the noob icon showing that they're a new player, I would get on them. I've done it, because there's no reason that a veteran player should be getting on a new character or a new player because they don't understand the mechanics. Clearly they don't. They have an icon that literally shows them that you are a new player. So please do not be afraid to screw up, because experience is the ultimate way of getting better at this game. And I'm just saying, as long as you just try and you understand a gimmick or a mechanic, you will become better and you will be able to enjoy the story. You'll be able to enjoy the communities. You'll be able to join the free companies that you can join with your friends. All of the stuff that makes a massive multiplayer online game. If you truly love a game, then you'll want to become better at it. You'll want to continue to grow at it, because the game is more than the story. The game is about community. It's about enjoying the environment. It's about enjoying what this game's story does have to offer, which is very good, and it has a slapping soundtrack. Enjoy all of that, guys, and take it at your own pace. Don't rush it. If you feel like you're stuck somewhere, practice. Get better at it. It's an MMO. It's a slow burn. It's not something that you just gotta, oh my God, I gotta rush to endgame. Just enjoy it. Relax. You will get better, I promise you. Practice makes perfect. Just practice your character, understand your abilities, and learn the mechanics of a fight. If you can follow all these guides or look up guides to help improve you, then you will enjoy Final Fantasy XIV to its fullest and appreciate it from a different perspective than just simply wanting to come through just to beat the story. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, then please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I post content often, and I have links in the description below to my other content as far as Twitter and Twitch and my Discord. Write in the comments below on your thoughts. Is Final Fantasy too hard? I would love to hear everyone's opinion. And above all, keep on gaming, guys.